Welcome in, guys, to where I preview every single NFL's upcoming 2024 season. We're in the AFC North with the skid marks. I'm sorry to say this, guys. I'm bringing them up. Gonna get them out of the way. The skid marks of the NFL. The really true skid marks. I'm sorry if there's any Browns fans out there. I mean, I'm sorry. Sorry. You should blame people that that got you into this team, the skid marks, but. Let's talk about them. The Cleveland Browns 2024 season. So anyway, let's talk about them. Last year they lost a wild card to the Texans last year. It was a landslide defeat. C.J. Strauss really put the skid marks to shame, 45-14 in the wild card round, 14 to 45, conceded 45. Really, again, a lot of questions were raised for the Browns. But again, you look at the Browns last couple of years. I mean, you got Andrew Berry, GM. He's been there since 2019. He hired Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski has been there since 2020. And they've only reached the divisional round once since Kevin Stefanski has been head coach for the Browns. And that was in that 2020 season when the Chiefs defeated them 17-22. So in the past 4 years, they only got to the divisional round once. And you've got to look really at their quarterbacks. Now again, Baker Mayfield in 2016. That really was a great decision. And then getting the guy they should have got back in 2017, Deshaun Watson. They finally got their guy in 2022. He only played 6 games. He played 6 games last year. 6 games last year. Again, he did get injured for most of the games. You had to play Darius Thompson last year as well. So again, you're swapping out a lot of quarterbacks. Jacoby came in as well for a couple of games. So again, the Browns need to find out the quarterback position. In my opinion, after this season, I would cut losses with Deshaun Watson. Cut him and find somebody else in the draft. Because, again, in my opinion, it's a disaster. Again, it's good for the Texans. Like they got rid of him in 2022, and they got the guy C.J. Strauss. But for the Browns have got Deshaun Watson. But again, last year he had 7 touchdowns last year, 115 passing yards. So he didn't have a bad year. He only played 6 games, got injured, played 6, started 6. Darius Thompson came in. He was the rookie quarterback last year. Had a couple of games. Didn't really show much, but the people that they brought in from the signings that they brought in, they got Ken Dorsey, former offensive coordinator at the Bills for a couple of years. So again, they're bringing in somebody that worked under Josh Allen, so they're hoping that maybe that could rub off on Deshaun Watson. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but they got Haynes running back. Also, he knows Ken Dorsey from his time with the Bills. They got Jameis Winston from the Saints. So let's see again. Maybe you're gonna play Jameis Winston for a season, in my opinion. But also they bring in Tyler Huntley as well. He was a backup. He was a backup for Lamar Jackson back in Baltimore. Again, you could play him, or I would have him or Jameis Winston, in my opinion, over Deshaun Watson. Then Jerry Jeudy, traded Jerry Jeudy in for a 5th round and a 6th round pick this year in the draft. So Jerry Jeudy comes in from Denver. Again, I think that's a good addition. Again, you look at who they have though. They have a David Bell. They have a Cedric Tillman who they drafted last year. Also, you bring in the addition of Jerry Jeudy coming in, and also Haynes coming in. You've got a good offensive core there, and also Amari Cooper's there as well. It's just, in my opinion, I think the quarterback position needs to be addressed. Cut your losses with Deshaun Watson at the end of this year, in my opinion. Cut your losses with him and just move on and draft somebody else. Again, you've got options in Tyler Tyler Huntley and Jameis Winston for a stopgap, and also Darius Thompson. Yeah, I don't think he's the guy, but you can stuff him in for a year and then you draft somebody else in for 2025. The people that they drafted in this year, though, Michael Hunter Jr., defensive tackle. I've seen him. He does look a good prospect, and I'm interested to see how he gets on, how he develops in the NFL. Zak Zinter, guard, again, some protection for Deshaun Watson or whoever's going to play quarterback. And then they bring in Nathaniel Watson at linebacker. The guy looks pretty impressive. I've seen a couple of tapes of him. Looks pretty impressive. And then Myles Harden comes in as cornerback. And then the last pick that they had was Jowon Briggs. Don't know if he's going to really play much, but he could have a couple of cameos at defensive tackle. He'd be a good rotation option for Michael Hunter Jr. But again, for this year, again, for the Browns, they're not going to win the Super Bowl or anything. I'm not going to crazy with my predictions. I see them going second in the AFC North this year, and potentially gain a wild card playoff position. I don't see them going wild, but I think this will probably be the last year for Kevin Stefanski and the last year for Andrew Berry as GM. Because again, you look at this talent that you've got Amari Cooper, David Bell, Cedric Tillman. You also have these new additions coming in like Jerry Jeudy. You've got to really get better. You've got to really do more than what you have with this roster. You've got a pretty decent roster of a team. You need to really do more. Even with Deshaun Watson, you've got a pretty decent roster. And you're not even getting to the divisional round. Like, at least the whole thing is that with the Deshaun Watson trade is that you want to win a fucking championship. But you haven't appeared in a championship game or a divisional round since 2020. I think Kevin Stefanski and GM Andrew Berry, if they don't get to at least a divisional round this year or a championship game, fire them both. Because again, you cannot have all these good parts and you're not really getting over the hump.